I'm feeling like a star, you can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City, my head's in the sky. I'm solo, I'm running solo, I'm running solo, I'm running solo. Yeah, I'm feeling good tonight.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Golden Dice Podcast. We are off our holiday break after Christmas and New Year's, and man, we've got a lot to catch up on. This is episode number 64. With me as a co-host, I have the true and trusty Flockton. Flock, how are you tonight?
I'm doing well. Got spanked at my locals, but doing well.
Sounds about right.
Yep.
But with us tonight, we also have a special guest. We have Shane from the Hypleroops, or Serdapi, whatever you prefer.
Either one works. Most people just go who.
I'll go with Shane. That works for me.
Yeah.
So, Shane, how are you tonight?
How you guys doing tonight?
Good, man. I'm excited to have you on. We have to cleanse the name of Shane on this podcast, and I felt, it's finally time to do that and get you on. Clear everything of the previous Shane.
Right. I appreciate it. Like, I've been trying to get on for a while now, and what is this, number 63, right? I finally made it, guys. Finally made it.
Well, it was funny. Reflex was on, like, a few episodes ago, 2 maybe, and he was just like, my only criteria is that I'm on before any of my other team. I was like, well, Mike was on a while ago. We're trying to get Shane on too. He's like, am I before Shane? I was like, I guess. He's like, okay, I'm in.
Man. Yeah, I'm the rookie for life, so I get all the jokes.
Yeah. That's funny. I still remember, though, like, I don't remember if it was when you were, like, first added to the team, but the first time Shane was, like, talked about in the Hyperloops Discord or something like that, somebody brought him up. And then I just made a joke about him, like, Shane sucks. You just come in, you're like, what?
What happened? I was like, who is this guy? I was like, what? Why am I getting some heat? And I'll be honest, I didn't know that you guys had a Shane, so I was like, I've never seen another Shane in Destiny yet. So I'm like, who? And then everyone was like, who are you talking about? And that's where I think the Shane who come from. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense then. And I don't blame you for not knowing. He hasn't been to anything.
Yeah, who, Shane?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can go with him now. He can inherit the who.
He's the new who.
He doesn't come around as much anymore. We miss him, from what I hear.
We do.
Roasted. Flock plays Ultimate with him, so that's like the only thing Shane does anymore.
Whoa. So we're all Ultimate Bud?
Yeah. So Jack doesn't play Ultimate.
Jack doesn't play Ultimate? Wow.
I
played. I don't know. I played in college for KU, and then played for Inception in Colorado for a little bit, and then now I'm trying to make a team this year.
We'll see. Nice. Yeah, I played in college. I played for my university as well, and then now I just play on the club team for the big Wildwood tournament at the beach.
Yeah, it's just like once a year.
Wildwood, nice.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, people travel all the world for that one. People come from like Australia the one year to Wildwood, New Jersey, to play frisbee on the beach, all the way from Australia.
Did you ever watch the Always Sunny episode when they go to the beach and it's Wildwood?
No, is there a thing like that? I need to look that up.
Always Sunny in Philadelphia? Yeah.
I've seen it, but I didn't know there was like one while Wildwood was going on, or like at Wildwood Beach is Wild. I've never been to Wildwood, so I'm like, is it just called the beach? Is it the Wildwood the beach, or is it like the name of the?
Wildwood's the town.
Oh, okay.
There, yeah. But yeah, there's a whole episode about it. D goes on like that double shot thing. It's like where it launches you up and you come back down, launches you back up thing. Like her hair gets stuck in it and it rips out and they forget out. It's a good one.
That's a good one. I do like Old Sunny. I wish I watched more of it, but I've actually really liked all the actors in it.
Yeah, I feel like it just resonates with me being like, I went to Temple, so I was in Philly, and growing up in South Jersey. I'm just like, yes. I appreciate everything, that all the jokes they make about Philadelphia. I appreciate it all. But Shane, we got a few intro questions for you. I don't know if many people have gotten to know like your background a little bit, but you are part of the Loops. You're one of the like playtesting team. You don't do the content creation, although you guys did just start a podcast. But I figured I'd give you an opportunity for the people in the community to get to know you a little bit better. And so I just have general questions of Star Wars, and I want to know what your favorite Star Wars movie is.
Oh, my favorite Star Wars movie, huh? Like any movie, like the Clone War movie and everything like that, or is it like one of the like theatrical episode.
Any you could do like Solo, Rogue One. I mean, if you want to include the theatrical Clone Wars, that can be your favorite too. If you want.
Yeah, it's not.
Isn't it like notoriously bad?
It's pretty rough.
So
I only saw it when it first came out. It's been a while.
It is notoriously bad, but without it, I don't think we would have got the Clone Wars, which is notoriously good, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
it all the stuff came from that. So I'm like, oh, I'm kind of like that because it gave me Clone Wars. But I'm actually going to go ahead and say number 9 is my favorite. I know there's controversy around that, but right now it's the best action sequences. I'm not like a huge Star Wars nerd, so like the lore and everything like that. I'm just like, this entertained me. I had fun. Good movie.
Yeah, that's a top 3 for me. So I'm not gonna fight you for that one. I like
definitely like 9 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I like 2. So if I had to like do top 3, it's like 9, 2, and like the originals don't even make it. Like I'm trying to debate like between. I actually liked Solo a lot, even though that's another one. Mainly because I just like seeing. I like Woody Harrelson a lot. And I liked his character.
Yeah.
So.
Although you lost me at 2. You had me at Solo and 9, but you lost me at 2.
Oh man, 2. Like I don't know, 2 is just fun. As I said, I hate 1. I hate 1 with a passion. It's probably my least favorite. And then like the older ones, just I can't resonate with me as much. And then like 3 was okay, and then the other 2 have been good.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say the end of 2 I really enjoy. Like once the clones get in and any of the movie lasts like 25 minutes or whatever it is really good. What would you say is your least favorite movie then?
Of Star Wars, yeah, it's got to be 1 for sure.
1, yeah.
Little Annie is just too much to handle, like midichlorians and yeah, just everything. No.
I'm glad that Disney did not touch midichlorians. At no point, like in any comics, I'm pretty sure anything, they haven't brought that back up. So I hope that stays buried.
Yeah.
But it's technically canon, though, right?
Yeah. But they can just not talk about it.
Canon, head canon, whatever you want to call it, right? I don't know. I get caught up in this canon thing. I don't know what it is or what isn't. Just like now that Disney bought it over, it's like things went away. Like it's weird that you can like make things go away from canon just by buying.
Yeah, it's kind of like a weird space, but I mean I get it from their standpoint because now you don't have to worry about like filling in so many different things.
I agree. I just think I would like if I were to do it, I'd be like, okay, everything that past this point is the old series. We're gonna do the new series, and now this is canon, right? Like but now they had to blend it a little bit, so I'm like, oh, I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. That's why maybe I don't get into the comics as much.
I think it's pretty much all the books and comics of the old ones are done, but all the new books are in. I think that's really it. I mean, like Clone Wars, like you said, is that. But what was it, the 2005 Clone Wars or 2004? Whatever one, that's not canon anymore.
Yeah, the one where like, cool. Where is it Grievous? You get to see how Grievous gets his chest crushed. Is that movie?
I think it's that one. Yeah, it's like the weird, not weird animated, but I forget the style exactly.
Samurai Jack style-ish.
Yeah, that one. Cool. All right, you're better than Reflex. Reflex said his top was 8. And, I just got issues with that.
Man. I'm not in on the. I will say I liked 8 really. So let me tell you this. I actually debated this a lot. I think I could have made 8 better. Right. I think it was cool seeing 9 and spoilers. Okay, or no spoilers for 9 yet.
What are we, like a month or not a month out? You can keep it light. You can keep it light.
Okay. When Luke helps out Rey a little with on the planet, I'll keep it light there. I think he could have done that and then been in person in 8 instead of force ghosting, illusion, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, okay.
Like he comes in, and you know how like he's instead of Poe saving Finn, it would have been cool if like Luke came in with the X-wing and then like pulled Finn away from the wreckage and then had an ultimate face-off and actually like ghosted like Obi-Wan a little bit instead of like he's just delaying him and now he's delayed him. He'll just do what Obi-Wan taught him to do, kind of thing.
Okay, I could dig it.
Anyway,
all right, so that's the Star Wars movies. I feel like everybody gets a good feel of somebody when you talk about Star Wars. It's always interesting to hear what people enjoy the most. But into Destiny a little bit. What got you into Destiny?
So some coworkers of mine, I've always loved CCGs, and they brought in this Destiny game, and I'm like, what is this? And they're like, oh, it's a new card game from Fantasy Flight Games, and I'm like, who? Because I never played or heard of Fantasy Flight Games till Destiny. Crazy, I think. But so I'm like, okay, let's play. And then I played. I'm like, this is amazing. I'm a big dice guy, right? I love the fact that I can roll the dice and see a different tree of decisions every single time. To me, that's a puzzle that I get to figure out, and I love trying to figure out puzzles in general. So Destiny hooked me in instantly, and then I started playing. And I'm one of those guys, when I go in, I'm like, all my friends are like, hey, come play, come play. And I'm like, okay. And I'll be the last guy out. And I am currently still the last guy. Like, my friends you still play? And I'm like, yeah, I do. Like, you guys drug me in and then left me in the dust. And I have to find new friends online, which have been better anyway.
That's funny. What was the set that you got into?
So I got in Awakenings. I got in actually like 2 years. What would have been? Awakenings 2 years now. Right after, right when the product delay and the scarcity and everything like that, the store I went to go buy from only let me buy more packs because I was buying into it at this time. And so I'm like, okay, so I bought a lot of packs in. Then they ran a tournament, and like he would only let people buy 6 packs a day kind of thing. And I was like, oh, we let me buy a few more if I like stay for the tournament? I've never played before, never played a tournament. I stayed for the tournament, and then people started handing me free cards already, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. So then stuck around, find some competitive people in my locals, and started playing with them. My first deck that I won a tournament with was Bala Django Trooper.
Okay.
And I was just like, oh, this is amazing.
That's a throwback. Well, that's cool. And yeah, I think that was right. That was probably 3 years ago at this point, wasn't it? I think it was demoed in 2016.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's only 3 years because I was at a different job now. And I'm like, I've been at this job 2 years. So that year, yeah, for sure, 3 years ish right now. Like,
yeah, I was in right around that same time too, right after Awakenings came out. I remember the scarcity. I remember how that affected Spirit. Everybody thought it was gonna be the same. You're like smuggling packs, trying to get a few extra from every store. That was a good time.
See, yeah. And I think the funny thing is, I'm like, I actually kind of wish we had the FFG of old for that kind of stuff, because like I love the Spirit release. I love the local Spirit release, like before, like the preview set, like, and then everyone got the full set, right? So if you went to the previews, you got new cards faster. I get like the secondary market, it blew up and everything. People complained, but I was like, this is awesome. This is how I think they should do everyone. Like, do a limited release, then do a full release. Then you can't complain about like not having cards, and I think we'll get into that later.
Yeah. Now we're complaining about how the secondary market is like non-existent.
Yeah, right.
But what's been your favorite meta to play on?
Oh man, don't kill me, but it had to be Millionaires. Just because I was so close to going 8-0 at Gen Con, and I made a mistake. I killed myself. I actually saw the out that he had, and I was like, instead of doing the math and figuring out I had enough health to live through the next round where a double claim would get me the game, I took I hope he doesn't see the out. And he saw the out and won.
Yeah.
But yeah, Millionaires had to be because, one, that's what got me that deck. Helping build that deck was got me to the Loops guys. The Loops guys enjoyed my company, got me close to their team, and then shortly after that, being able to join the team has been just purely great for my Destiny stuff. So it's probably my favorite meta for sure.
Oh, I didn't realize you weren't on the team yet. I thought you had, at that Gen Con, I thought you were on them.
So it was weird. Like I took Millionaires to a tournament, and they asked me a couple questions about it. And I'm like, here's my list, blah, 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 blah. Then I started testing with Biggie, who had just joined the team after his topping at Worlds. And then like I was on the testing team, but I wasn't on the team kind of thing. And then after I won the Tulsa store champ or regional, I can't remember which one, I beat Wainwright and Tim Bunn on stream, and like after that, like Joe was like, hey, you want to join the village? And I'm like, yeah, I do.
Nice. I enjoyed Millionaires. Did well for me at New Jersey Prime.
Nice. Yeah, no, I mean, it was my favorite. It's kind of like a baby of mine, and it's not mine obviously, but it's it's one that I was like, oh man, this is great. I mean, I played the Pomaz era, and I played Pomaz, and it was fun. But like, yeah, being able to say, hey, I contributed to something like that is just so good.
Cool. Yeah, I mean that's gotta be a good feeling. But all right. Now that we got to get to know you a little bit, your interest and how you kind of got into Destiny, we will get into the plenty of news that we've gotten from FFG and all that entails. But we're going to start on the positive note. I believe it was this past Friday that they dropped this article on Friday the 3rd titled A More Civilized Age. And so they previewed blue heroes and villains in covert missions. This is a pretty exciting article. It was nice to just see some spoilers coming out as we get closer and closer to covert missions, even though it did get a little bit further away. But we'll go through these spoilers through the order that they are in on the article and in our Discord here. So the first one we got, I'll read off, and then we can talk about him, is Ponkrell. He's a deadly imposter. He's a blue villain for 12-15. And he has 11 health. He's got a 1 melee, 2 melee, 1 focus, 1 discard, 1 resource blank. He is a character Jedi leader. You can include up to 4 different blue hero cards in your deck. After you activate this character, you may place a hero card in any player's discard pile on the bottom of their deck, then deal 1 damage to a character. So how are we feeling about Ponkrell? Flock, do you like him?
I like him.
To your boy?
Yeah, I mean, he did nothing wrong in the TV show, I think. So, like, yeah. The ability's pretty cool. But I think, like, you have to... You won't get any ability out of it until, like, maybe the 3rd round if you see a hero card, or unless you're playing against a hero deck. So right now I see a lot of villain decks, or the stronger decks. So I don't know how great this will be going in, unless we see, like, a hero's decks, like, creep in. Then you can, yeah, you're giving them cards on the bottom of the deck, but you can ping a damage. So
I want to hear who's this partner you're thinking of, or even what's the 4 cards you think you would put in?
Partner. I don't really know yet. Because I don't know. There's not really great melee villain I can think of that are around 15 for a middle. So, but I mean, I was probably thinking about probably more likely 0 cost or maybe even 1 cost events. So maybe like Wolf Bond or something like that, or Pacify. That's what I was looking at.
I hate that it's 4 different. Like I was like, all right, I'll do 2 Steadfast, and then I was like, oh wait, I can't.
Yep.
And it's kind of weird
Steadfast
too.
Is a good one, yeah.
Like the fact that it's like you don't want to include upgrades. Like part of me was like, oh, it could be interesting if I could get Ezra Saber or like Obi-Wan's, or I don't know, just something of value. But then that's like 1 card that stays on the board, and then you can't cycle it with his ability. So I don't know. It's pretty tough deck building wise, how much that 4 different blue hero cards actually open up your deck building and kind of can go with it. I mean, I'll say that I'm excited for Ponkrell because it's Ponkrell, and I think the artwork looks pretty sick.
Oh, it looks dope.
Yeah,
but
I do like the art.
I struggle with the point that Shane brought up is like, all right, what's the 15-point like character you're going to pair him with? And I mean, you could do like middle with like Kylo and stuff, but like, is that really, how good is that type thing?
I would have liked to have seen him at like 13, 11. I like these 2-cost characters with these type of die. Like I like the 2 for elite, right? The 2 little additional, because his die is not amazing, right? You're getting him for the ability on his card. So I think it's better if he was like 11, 14 would be even just a little bit better, because you won't see a lot of them to go single die for less than their health, right? So it's like 11 hits his health, which is perfect. And then 2 die, I think you don't get an overwhelming, crazy, broken die with his elite, right? So in my mind, this could have been a character for a 2-point increase.
Yeah,
because I see him as like I see him as you're going to want to find a blue hero or hero card in general, right? Each turn that turns his die into 2 sticks, 3 sticks, and then It's one focus and a damage. The damage just adds to everyone, and I gotta think, okay, how much damage do I have to get out to make him a 14 or a 15 cost elite? And I'm looking at like Iden, who has only 2s, and I'm looking at like the new Darth Vader, who has like specials that are 2s, and Forlom, who has like 2s. So I'm like, it's really, really hard for me to maybe get a 1. If that was a 2/2 at 15 and that ability, I think he'd be definitely playable for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the issue. Is you look at so many of these characters at 15, like you mentioned, Iden. She's got a 2/2, and then she has a 2 focus as well. Han Solo is a 2/2, and then like a 2 indirect, and then for hero it would be a disrupt. But like, there's just so many different options for them at those 15-point characters where they do different things and they have larger dice sides, whereas you're not really getting that with him. And it's like those characters have the same health pool. I mean, Iden's 15 and she has 12 health, and I think Han's 11. Yeah, he's got 11 health.
Han's 11.
But he's also 11 for 1 die, right? See, there's like, if you look at Han and like Tobias, they're like 4 costs for that extra die, but their die is really, really good, right? Yep. So I'm like, his die is not that great, and you're only going to get, if you have him at elite, you're really only getting like half a damage per die because you have to split that 1 damage because you don't get to do it like after you resolve this die. If it was like after you resolve this die, that would be, I would then say, okay, he's at the right cost, even at that 1, because you're possibly getting, 2 damage from his ability, playing a hero, or having like heroes in your graveyard or wherever it needs to be. Yeah, discard pile.
Yeah. To me, he almost seems like, one, as a Destiny fan of the game and a Star Wars fan, I enjoy this card, but as a competitive player through that lens, I'm not excited.
It's probably not competitive at all.
Yeah, and so to me, I think it's exciting for a player to look at this and be like, oh, what can I start including of all these hero cards? What 4 can I put into Ponkrell and do that? So I think he's like one of those characters you have to chalk up. He's probably not going to be super competitive, but it probably appeals to a certain amount of people within the game.
Design-wise, he's amazing. I love the design of him. Like the concept of adding hero cards and doing damage off of things in your discard pile. Love it.
Yeah.
I think it'll be very fun to play with.
I love that he's a Jedi. I love that they kept that. So like you can include Discipline Mind or Jedi Mind Trick.
I like it too, but it doesn't make, like, I had this problem, I think, every time I talk about Pong. It's like, how can a Jedi be evil? I just never got that. Like, it just doesn't make much sense.
I guess he wasn't technically kicked out of the order yet, especially going off this picture.
Right. I mean, he was kicked out of the order, but then I feel like once you're kicked out, you're not really a Jedi. But I guess he's still I guess maybe it's like a hidden deceitful. Maybe that's why it's like deadly imposter, right?
Yeah.
He's pretending to be a Jedi. That makes more sense now. Okay. I've convinced myself.
Yeah. I'm glad we could help walk you through that.
It was traumatic. I couldn't talk Ponkrell many more times.
All right, so we'll but yeah, on that note too, like his subtype, like Jedi Leader's pretty solid subtypes. The Jedi part being able to include the cards makes it relevant, so he does have that going for him too as well. But all right, I'll read this next card as well, and then this will also help us fully round out our decision on Ponkrell. And then also this card individually. So we got Ponkrell's Lightsaber. It is a 3-cost blue villain upgrade weapon. It is a rare, and it's got a 2 melee, a +2 melee, a 1 shield, 1 resource, a special for a resource, and a blank. Its power action says, spot Ponkrell or spend 1 resource to roll a set-aside copy of this die into your pool. Set that die aside after it is resolved or removed, and the special is deal 2 damage up to 2 characters. Does this change your opinion of Ponkrell? Does it bump him up anymore, or is it still kind of the same?
For me, the artwork's the same.
Yeah, it's same for me. The artwork though, I really like that one.
Yeah, him and his lightsaber, man. There's like, I want to play them just because of the artwork looks so sick. Yeah, it's like 3-cost with a pay side, and I get that you can roll the other one in for free if you're playing Ponkrell. So really, it's 3 for 2 dice, but it's like not really great 2 dice. I don't know.
Yeah, I have to always evaluate cards from a competitive standpoint, and to me, that's just I would rather pay the 1 and have them alls, right? Instead of if I have to pay to roll something back in, I'd rather just have essentially roll it back in, right? So I understand that you get 2 of this die, but in my mind, same as rolling in the Mauls again. I don't see why I would play this over Mauls any day, really.
Yeah, and you're going from the assumption that you're going to be paying 1 to roll this in because, as we talked about, Ponkrell probably not the most competitive, so you're assuming that you're not going to be able to spot him, really.
Yeah, and even if I did, like, I don't know. I mean, that's the only time if I was playing Ponkrell and I had this, and I had 3 resources, and I had this or Maul Saber, I would still be like, oh, I don't know which one, just because that 4, right, is that 4 already hits everything that lightsaber can do, even with the second die, unless I hit the special, which it would be 2 additional resources.
Yeah, I do wish they made like there's already a lot of text on there, but it would have been cool if it was something like while Ponkrell's in play, like this card is a hero card or something, and I don't know, just to then make it up to 6 cards in your deck that you could have that would be hero to help trigger it. I don't know.
Yeah, no, because then you could include 2 of these, and then that one that's dead, you just cycle. You use it for a reroll and then cycle.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been good.
Yeah. Missed chance. Oh, well. So, yeah, I don't think this brings up Ponkrell anymore. Does this even make the 30 in, I don't know, just a standard blue melee deck? Like, I don't know, just thinking Kylo Dooku or even something like Raylo. Like, does this come into play?
I mean, Belt to Last is the only thing I can think of. If you can find a good Belt to Last deck, I would consider it probably.
Yeah, I probably might put a 1 of, but probably not, honestly.
Yeah.
Because a lot of blue decks are already kind of struggling for money. Like, you only really play this in like a mono blue deck, and they're already, even villains, struggling for money. So paying 3 and then have to pay for that special, because the special would be great, especially with these, 2 or 3 wide decks. It'd be great. So 4 damage for 1, I'll do it any day. But yeah, it just stinks. You got to pay for it.
I would even say like just removing that resource from the special would make this so much better.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like Flock was saying, like blue villain just struggles for cash. So it's just like, all right, I played this 3 costs. I hit the special. How am I going to pay for it?
Yeah.
Is there any, or really just villain? Has there ever been like a villain built to last deck that's kind of like cropped up and even been just like okay? Like Heroes had some options. I feel like
people tried it with like Dooku, but I don't know who the partner would have been. Oh, I will tell you this. I tried it with when they dropped Grievous recently, the Red Grievous. So you can do 1 die Red Grievous, because his die is 5 cost for a second one. You do 1 die Red Grievous, Dooku from Rivals. And so my concept was like, I'm going to make them discard their hand each turn while building up Grievous to the 4 weapons. And then they had to deal with the 4 weapon Grievous. It was okay.
I just feel like they struggle even from the standpoint of like unique upgrades, really. Like I feel like Heroes got like all the really good ones of like even the 1-drop in Yoda's, like Qui-Gon's, Obi's, Rey's. I don't know, it just seems like they have a lot of options, where Villain just seems a little bit more like limited in that aspect.
Yeah, it's like Darth Vader, Maul, and Palp, and like Dooku.
Yeah, dude, Callus Bow Rifle. There you go.
Oh, Callus. Red
Fifth Brother's lightsaber. There you go.
Man, that's one thing I'll never see me play is Fifth Brother's lightsaber.
Yeah. Yeah, these are like the ones that there are just pretty rough too. Like Beckett's right. I mean, that's yellow, but Beckett's rifle. It's like the best thing about it is making them lose a resource when you play it. It's like,
yeah, you have to play it on Beckett, right? So it's like, oh man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I don't think Beckett's making a build to last deck.
Right. Angar's Fireblade, right? Oh man.
Yeah, that's rough. Yeah, that all sounds real bad. Yeah, I mean, right now this might be one of it might shoot into the top of a villain built to last deck, but as we mentioned, the options are pretty slim.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like that's the only thing I can think of. I was like, oh yeah, if I need to fill out a build to last, I think I would put this.
Yeah, it makes sense. Flock, I feel like you appreciate this next one. Do you want to read it?
Can I read today or no?
I don't know. You
All
tell
right,
me.
So I can try. All right, so the next one is Quad Slam. It's a 2 cost. And it is choose up to 4 characters and remove 1 character die belonging to each of them.
How do you feel about this?
So up to 4 characters, you can choose 2 or 3, and then remove 1 character belonging. It seems pretty good. I could probably put it in my DJ deck, but right now my DJ deck has no blue. It's yellow red. So
That's why I gave it to you for DJ.
and if I want to play with Talzin, it's an even cost, so not as good. So yeah, I don't know. I don't see it working for the decks that I'm looking at, but at least it doesn't seem that bad. I mean, especially if you see those 3 wides, you can move 3 dice for 2. Seems pretty good.
Shane, how do you feel about it?
So when I first saw it, I was like, no, this is terrible. But I've been looking at it a little bit harder. I guess because maybe I've been actually focusing on heroes a little bit, but I actually been playing Repulse in heroes, and I'm like, oh, it's 2 dice of different colors. So that's technically the same restriction as sometimes as character dice, right? But this one doesn't. If I play like Raylo, it's still like 1 Kalo die, 1 Ray die. So I'm like thinking that this isn't like the worst thing in the world, especially maybe even in Raylo, where you're limited on removal, specifically 2 dice removal. And I have to think of it as this is going to at the max value I'm going to get out of this is 2 dice. And if I get 2 dice out of it, I should be happy. And thinking about it that way, it's not the worst. It's not snuff out. What's the 0 pay 2 and remove 0 cost?
Shriek?
Shriek, yeah, it's not Shriek. I think it's better than Shriek, but we see how much Shriek gets played.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the most this will ever get in reality is probably 3 dice. Like I don't even think there's any 4 wide dice or 4 wide decks that exist and like are relevant. So at most you're really getting 2, and this could be something one of those like early cards in my mind. If this made a decent showing at LVO, I wouldn't have been surprised, because it's one of those things that people probably didn't practice or pay attention to that much. And if you roll in all your characters thinking you're okay, next thing you know 3 of them are removed. Like something like that, this seems like it could be decent from like a surprise factor of like one of those underplayed but potentially blowout cards if the lines up. But overall, it definitely seems mediocre. But like you said, Raylo, it could be decent in just because they're limited already in kind of what they have. But generally, if, I don't know, blue villain, and you're sitting on 2 resources, which probably isn't likely anyways, I feel like you'd just be like, all right, I'll kind of just play around this so they're not going to get max value out of, a quad slam if they did play it.
Yeah.
It's definitely a card you're looking for in draft, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because everyone rolls out all 3 characters, and you're like, yep, I'm going to get rid of... End your turn, basically, with 2 costs. So, definitely a good draft one. But it is uncommon, so it'll be tough to find.
Yeah. All right, Shane, you want to read this next one?
Sure. Actually, I'm excited for this one. So with Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber, it is 2 stick, 2 stick, plus 2 stick, 2 shield, 1 resource. The text is redeploy. Discard this upgrade from play if you control Rey's lightsaber. After you play this upgrade, give a character you don't control 1 shield, then give a character 2 shields.
You said you're excited about this?
Opinion.
Oh,
I am. I'm gonna go. I'll talk on it a little bit, but you guys go ahead.
Yeah, this one looks nice.
Yeah, I think this is in a really good spot. I'll say that I'm a little bothered by the whole Rey's lightsaber restriction thing.
Why?
I think
It's better than Rey's lightsaber.
Well, yeah, but I'm just frustrated from the standpoint of like, why does like Blue Hero just get another random restriction on, like, they already don't have great weapons and now you're restricting the 3-cost ones that they have. But I don't know. So I'm a little frustrated on that point, but I don't think that actually takes away from how good this will be. I mean, I think in Raylo it goes into, I think like droids, this goes into pretty much any hero deck that has blue and is really doing upgrade type thing.
Yeah.
I think this is just really good. And of course, it does pair with Anakin's ability, but you know, I don't really care too much about how well this goes with Anakin. But I'm excited for it. I mean, it's got good sides. Essentially, it does the same as Rey's lightsaber, assuming you're playing it on Rey, of getting yourself 2 shields. The giving them a shield does feel bad, but if it's in a Reylo deck, you don't care. That feels fine. And if it's in like droids, right, if you play it on R2 to give him 2 shields, if they're going after him, you give a shield to the character you're not targeting, and, you know, you feel fine with that because now your 8 health character has 10 health, or, you know, whatever it might be. So I think this is really good. I wish it didn't have the restriction of Rays just for like mono blue hero decks, but I don't think that really takes away. You could probably even still run both if you're running Rey, because you could like get 2 shields and then later overwrite, you know, Anakin's with Rays or vice versa. So
yeah, I would definitely want to keep Anakin's over Rey's. The dice side seemed good. I mean, because you don't have to pay. You don't have a paid side, and Rey's only has a 1 shield. This is a 2 shield.
Yep.
Plus, you can always give that shield to the opponent. You can give it to a character's 3 shields. So if a character's 3 shields, you give them another shield. So essentially, they don't actually gain any shields, and then you get 2. So I like this a lot, actually.
yeah,
Because like especially in a mono blue deck, this is probably or like a mono blue. If you're looking for like mono blue hero, 3 costs kind of stink. So the fact that it's redeploy and you don't have the paid side, or Raise, it's like you spend 3 for Raise lightsaber, then you're like, oh, I got the 3 for 1. I have the $1. Now I got to find the $1. You know,
Yeah.
so essentially when you first play Raise lightsaber, you have 2 blanks. So this is a lot better than the Raise lightsaber. Personally, I think.
Yeah, you guys hit all the points that I was so excited about.
It's so good. I think it's gonna be great.
Yeah, like so again, I think I would play both if I'm playing Rey, just because, as you said, I love the fact that I can overwrite Rey's saber with this, because I want to end on Anakin's, not on Rey's, because of that 3 costs, as you kind of mentioned. But I love that I can overwrite Rey's and it's not the same restriction. I get why they put it thematically, right? It's the same lightsaber, but then I go back and look at, like, didn't we have a Luke's lightsaber and that didn't have any problems on it? It's like you say,
yeah.
Rey's or Luke's, right? So it's like whatever. But
was Luke's green though?
but isn't it the same?
I forget.
I don't know. I'm a Star Wars noob, but I thought, like, wasn't it Anakin Skywalker's, Luke's father's Jedi lightsaber, and then Rey found it and it's the same saber?
Yeah, that one. But the Luke's one that was in Awakenings is the green one that Luke built. In between 5 and 6.
But doesn't Leia and 9 say this is Luke's saber?
Yeah, I mean, there's been kind of back and forth stuff between.
I get confused. I don't know. I just know that I agree with you. It's kind of weird that it has that restriction, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, my frustration comes from gameplay rather than like name.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, the 2 shield though, I love that fact that it has a 2 shield. That's, to me, I don't see a bad side on this except for the blue plus side. But even then, if I already have a stick, I'm totally okay with any of these sides, really.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels good that it's a 2 shield. Like, I feel like so many of these get the 1 shield, like the Rey 1 shield side. Like, I feel like it just feels awful to resolve.
Right. I think they like traded off like a 3-for-1 and then took away the second shield, where I'm much happier to save $1 and gain a shield and lose a damage.
Yep. Yeah. I'm excited. This is
I think this will be a chase card. I think this will be top 4 chase.
Actually, it's not going to be chase card. No one's going to want this. Just so you guys know. Don't buy this card. I want this one. I mean, I don't want this one.
I feel like it'll struggle, and like I feel like it won't get 2 at hand because I feel like you could probably just get away with 1 in most of your decks.
Yeah.
So ultimately, it won't be like one of the. It's not like Neiman Mastery where it's like amazing in 2 ofs.
Yeah, and like neutral, right? It's not the neutral blue legendary.
Yeah. Also, Neiman's not even unique. You can have 2 Neimans on 2 different characters.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree with you. It's a Dagger Mortis situation, but I felt like Dagger Mortis was like one of the first cards I wanted to make sure I got.
Oh yeah. You wanted it. You wanted 1 to make sure because that pretty much goes on every blue stick deck.
Yeah. Depending on how well this card does, you might actually want 2 of them if it's that good. So you might want to actually see it early on.
Yeah, certainly depending on some of the decks are tight. Like if I go mono blue hero, I probably could see myself going 2 of. But like Raylo, I still probably just want one of these because I feel like my 3 costs, like really you're only running Dagger and Raise, I think, probably in Raylo for 3 cost weapons. So this probably just comes in over Raise, but I could see the argument of maybe going up to 3 costs just because, as we mentioned earlier, you can still get the 2 shields and overwrite. So
yeah, it's a hard choice. I think in Raylo I definitely run one of each, Raise and this one. But this, if I had to pick one of the uniques that I would probably possibly put in a second version, this would be the one.
Yeah, definitely. All right, any other thoughts on Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber?
Nope.
All right, we will move on. Still don't think this makes, I guess last thought, I don't think this makes Anakin any much more playable than what he is.
No. They need like polarity type cards that go along to make that work.
I feel like they need like a better apprentice too.
Yeah, that's true. A good Ahsoka? That'd be so sick if we get like a cool Ahsoka.
Yeah. Not holding my breath though. All right, next up we got the Last Spectre, it seems, unless they reprint Zeb this set. But we got Kanan Jarrus. He's a Jedi exile. He's a blue hero character. He's Jedi and Spectre. He is 9/12 for points. He has 9 health. And his dice sides are 1 melee, 2 melee, 1 discard, 1 shield, 1 resource, blank. And then it says this character's point value is decreased by 1 if your team has another Spectre. And then after you activate this character, you may choose a symbol and a die. Then an opponent turns a die to a side, or that die to a side, not showing the chosen symbol. Flock, how do you feel about Kanan?
Well, I like him, especially paired with his lightsaber. I think it's really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, we can. What if you guys want to read that?
I feel like you kind of got to talk both of them.
I agree.
All right, Flock.
Yeah.
Read it, dude.
I got to do it?
Yeah.
All right.
It's your time to shine. You proved you could read it.
Where's Brian? Come on, Brian. So we have Kanan Jarrus' lightsaber. It's a 3 cost, unique, and its sides are 2 melee, a 3 for 1, a +3 melee, 1 shield, +2 shield, and upgrade weapon. And after an opponent's die is turned, you may turn this die to any side. Then, if this upgrade is on Kanan Jarrus, you may exhaust it to turn one of his character dice to any side. So yeah, I think this could be very, very strong.
Yeah, I mean, Kanan looked good to me at his cost and even just his ability. Like if you get him down to 11, because there's not any other 11s that I really care about within Blue Hero.
Or even 8.
R2 would probably be the only one.
I mean, I'm looking at personally 1 die. Basically, he's like your messenger for hero, and with 1 die, I can see you doing a lot of nasty stuff for 8 points.
I mean, that's the big thing is that with Kanan, right after you activate him, you can choose a symbol and a die. You turn it, and so you turn your opponents, and then that triggers. Well, yeah.
So you would say the damage side, they would turn it to like a money side or a shield side.
Yeah, but and then from that triggers the lightsaber, which after the die is turned, you can turn the lightsaber die to any side. Then if it's on Kanan, you can turn one of his character dice to any side. So if you action cheat him in with Instigate, or even my mind goes to Ewok Ambush, because it's free. And so if you play him at single die, one, it takes the heat off of him, because obviously if you're playing Kanan, you're probably playing his lightsaber. And I think everybody who sees these cards sees how good they are. And so, you know, just takes the heat off them a little bit. So, yeah, stuff like Ewok Ambush and Instigate with Kanan just means people are going to take, like, 5 to their face. Or if they're just sitting in your pool and your opponent focuses, they just got to know they're taking 5 to the face.
They'd be questioning your life choices if you're okay with that, unless you're going to win the game off that focus.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's great. I think I think there's going to be one of those droids area where you're like, what's the best Spectre deck, right? What can I do to make the best Spectre? Not only like all Spectres, because we have the plot too, but like Kanan plus another Spectre deck. What's the best? That's going to be like the puzzle to solve, I think, this next set.
Yeah.
I think for me, where my mind is at, it's like, all right, Kanan single die, Chopper Elite, and then what else am I putting in? Like, Hera gives me red, but do I care about Hera?
No.
And if that's no, then you can go Wookiees. I mean, you could go C-3PO. So there's some options in there that do pique my interest a little bit.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
if this deck is so good, then you got whatchamacallit, then you got Pong Krell, you know? What I'm saying? You creep up, right? Yes, no?
What?
Like if decks like this become really strong, then Pong Krell might creep in, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know about
Yeah,
that.
because they hear it. Yeah, I don't know about that either.
It's probably not, but I can dream.
Yeah, if you look at it, like Kanan's die is the same as Pong's, and I think actually I would argue Kanan has a better ability, and it's just 2 health lower. Like that's why I'm saying like Pong at 11, 13, I think would have been a sweet spot at his current health. But
Yeah, I mean, Kanan, you're always going to look at him as 8'11", I feel like.
yeah,
And so
Yep.
he's 4 points cheaper for 2 less health. For essentially the same die, you lose the focus, but you get a shield and then a better ability. So
yeah.
that's tough when they come out in the same article, and you're like, man,
Right.
that is rough.
For sure. I mean, I think there's gonna be something there, and I've been racking my brain. I really want the full set so I can be like, here's my Spectre deck that I'm gonna be trying out. Because I agree with you. Like I want Chopper, I think, but then I look at like Zeb built the last, and I'm like, ooh, and there's like just lots of things.
Yeah. The tough part for me is that, all right, if I want Chopper, like I definitely want Red too, because Salvage Arm is like the best thing you can power action with. So, because I think there are a few people I talked about in the beginning. I think like Chopper, Kanan, Ezra, and then just pick 2 that are elite, and that seems like fine. But I don't know. I want Red. Red just gives you some, gives you Field Medic, gives you Salvage Arm, gives you some solid cards and stuff. So.
Yeah, I built a deck where I'm like, I had Chopper and I didn't put any mods in there, and it felt bad. I'm like, why am I doing this with Chopper?
Yeah. I mean, I'm honestly stoked too as well, just because like I love Spectres, I love Rebels. I actually just started rewatching it even before Kanan dropped. Once they officially spoiled Hera and like Sabine, I'm excited to play with them for just being a Star Wars fan as well. So the fact that he's good gets me excited as well.
The funny thing is, like the day before I just finished season 2, where like these pictures have came from, so I was like, oh, I just watched this. This is cool. Like it felt really like well timed.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I feel like I could talk about Kanan for a while. Like I think he's going to be one of the best characters in the set, simply because he just does something consistent that is good. He has an upgrade that goes really well with him, and he's cheap.
He's cost appropriate.
Yeah. I mean, the only drawback really that I care about is like non-redeploy weapon on a 9 health character. Is probably like the only concern that you have about this.
But I mean, you're definitely getting your money's worth, though. I mean, even getting this off, like maybe twice, is worth the 3 that you spend.
No, I think it's a strategy you should look at. That's just the only drawback.
Because if you can get this down turn 1, I mean, that's like you can pretty much almost guarantee 10 damage by the turn 2, just with these 2 dice. You know.
Yep.
So if you get an Ewok ambush, and the next turn maybe you can instigate and stuff like that, that's 10 damage, just by early round 2, which is I think a lot. That's more damage than what droids were doing, right? Droids were maxing out at like 4, maybe 5 if you have salvaged arm, right?
Well, probably just that 4 from 5 is just Chopper, if you have a salvage.
Yeah.
True, yeah.
I mean,
it's still scary. Like dealing with 5 damage around is like you have to deal with it, right? Like if they don't action cheat and they just do it, like, okay, I'm gonna throw 5 at you, deal with it. You deal with it. Okay, now you're out of removal. I'm gonna do all this other stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, droids with Faithful. I mean, they like if they did Faithful, they did 6 right there, plus any upgrades or any other extra dice, and this does 5 off of these 2 dice. So it's a step below droid simply because it actually requires a setup. Whereas droids were just like, all right, here you go.
Yeah, droid was like, oh, we'll just go in.
It's my design to do this.
Yep.
All right. Cool. Any other thoughts, I guess, on Kanan? We should breeze through these last 3 pretty quickly, I think. But,
I'm good.
all right. This next one is a blue villain zero cost plot rule of 2. It is an uncommon. If you do not control exactly 2 characters, one that is a Sith and the other that is an apprentice, set this plot aside and deal 1 indirect damage to yourself. And the action is, if you have exactly 1 character die in your pool, exhaust this plot to resolve it, increasing its value by 1. For 0, you're probably not going to get much better, but still not really excited about it. I think it's fine.
I don't know. We need a new good apprentice for villain. We get that maybe.
Who are their apprentices?
That's what I mean. Like I'm like, oh well, I think like the original, no, like a Savage Oppress is one of them.
Kylo too.
Actually, I think he's just a Night Brother. Savage.
Oh, is he? Okay, maybe. Yeah, because I guess Maul was never a Sith. I was just trying to think of like people that, because Maul's on here. But...
The 5th brother's apprentice, right?
Is he? I don't think he is.
I don't know. I can see the word apprentice next to him. I don't know. No, I can see it in my head.
It's literally 4 characters.
No, he's just an Inquisitor.
Okay.
The 2 Kylos and Maul.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, Maul? Which Maul?
Oh, the Maul though is a Sith apprentice. So you just need Sith. You just need Maul.
Wait, Maul, like 14 Maul?
No, 20 Maul.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Skilled duelist. The gambler.
Yeah.
Well, no, it can't just be just Maul though. You need to have Sith, and the other has to be an apprentice.
Oh, and the other, so it can't just be Maul.
Yeah,
you're right.
So I mean, the only real pairing this really goes with is like Dooku, Kylo, right now. I can think of that could just use it. Makes it better, but I don't think it makes it like over the top better.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know if all the blue villain are spoiled yet, so maybe there's some options.
Maybe, yeah.
Character
stuff. Yeah, that's what
I'm
I'm hoping. I'm hoping they come up with something for this because, as we've seen from stuff like Fateful, or 3PO just resolving +1, anytime you can do that for free, I think that's, if you can find a good pairing, this card could be pretty popular and pretty powerful at 0.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, if you use this twice, you're probably happy with that value.
I mean, yeah. If it's a good pairing already in a 0, use it once, you're golden. You're done.
Yeah,
that's great.
I mean, and also to note, people is people were talking about running this in Afra to ping yourself an indirect and then draw in like your starting hand. But by the time this would come into play and be checked, you actually wouldn't have a deck. So you would ping yourself and nothing would happen. So there you go.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate ruling.
Like I know like Drew was already, him being an Afra guy was like, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
Afra. Didn't work
I
out.
dropped the unfortunate for him.
I'm sure he appreciated that. All right, so that's rule 2. Seems fun, but not really impactful. The next one we have is a blue neutral uncommon, Bestow Wisdom. It's a 1-cost event. Spot a Jedi or a Sith to move up to 2 abilities from that character to an apprentice character. Have move events ever been good? Like moving upgrades to other people?
The only one I can think of was we used to move from a Padawan in Plo Koon so that you could use the Padawan again. Like I saw that happening. Like, put the Ancient Saber down for 1, move it to Plo Koon, and then play another one on the Padawan for 1, and I don't know, something like that.
Was that? I mean, because like, what was the stuff to move it? Didn't you still have to like pay one? So don't you still only end up saving a resource?
You just got to use the die twice in the first round, which you were trying to like blow people out like early damage.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense then. Are there any things that you can envision Bestow Wisdom coming into play with?
Yes, I actually think it'll be good with any kind of like. So I liked it in my Yoda Ray. I played with it, Yoda Ray. I played with it a little bit. but allows me. I'm trying the Jedi Trials. And it's a fun deck. I'm not gonna say it's like super competitive, but it allows me to take the heat off of my apprentice, load up Yoda, and make them go after the Jedi. So that way, sooner or later, I'm hoping I can draw the Bestow Wisdom to give Rey, my apprentice, the 2 of the abilities that I've dropped on Yoda, and completed like 2/3 of the Jedi Trials by having 2 abilities on her. So it helps me get to that end game kind of thing.
Okay. Trying to get that 3rd Rey die.
Yeah.
Cool.
Other than that, that's all I see. Unless there's a cool new Bane combo that works. Just so I can think of as like a good little for Bane, being able to drop that free ability, and then if they focus him down, moving some powerful blue abilities over would definitely help some survivability.
Hey, he is a Sith, right? That's his only title or description or whatever it is.
But it would have to be it has to be an apprentice, right? So we need like a good new apprentice kind of thing.
Well, you could do a single die Bane at 17 and then Anakin at 13. There you go.
I like it.
I solved your issue. You're welcome.
There we go.
Or you could even do Dooku. He's 13. But still.
I was trying to think of a way to make Old Man Luke an apprentice again. So you could be like, move abilities from Old Man Luke to someone else, and then move them back to Old Man Luke to then move them back to the other person.
Well, I'm pretty sure when Anakin was spoiled, Matt on the stream of Worlds mentioned there's going to be something like similar to knighthood, where like something that could make people an apprentice.
Ooh.
So I don't know if he got his wires crossed and if that could be set 10 or if that is that set, but that could certainly be interesting.
Yeah, because if they do, like, you play that thing on Old Man Luke, move something to Yoda, play Bestow Wisdom, move it back. But I guess you can't use... Yeah. In the next turn, you do it again. I mean, people always talk about using Force Wave so many times. Like, if you do that 4 times in the first 2 turns...
Yeah, that could get out of hand. No. Yeah, so it seems like one of those, again, just kind of corner case things where could come into play, but not...
Right, the only thing I'd say is, like, it moves 2, right? Everything else we've seen has moved only 1. So this moves 2, like, you know, and they don't say, like, has to be 3 cost or more or less, whatever it is. So the 2 is where it's, like, makes it slightly more interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the only restriction is that it's abilities, like, in terms of what you're moving. Yep. But I mean, like for some of the stuff you were talking about, like Rey and Yoda with Jedi Trials, you're doing abilities anyways, and if you're playing Luke, you're doing abilities anyways. So, and there's some good ones to move. It's not necessarily like a awful downside or anything.
Right, and I think this makes Reylo a little more interesting if you do like the Knighthood in Reylo, because some people were doing that just to get the 1 shield for Rey for free instead of like being when DM was everywhere, instead of having just Luke's protection DM'd. It was a different way of doing it, and that makes the person a Jedi. So then you can move things from Rey or Kylo to the other. Maybe abilities. Reylo comes more predominant. Maybe.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah, time will tell. Time will tell. All right, we got this one last event. Infuse the Force. It's a 1-cost blue neutral common. Spot a Sith to deal 1 damage to a character. Spot a Jedi to give a character a shield. Spot an Apprentice to draw a card.
Here's your Ponkrell card. Find me a Sith Jedi or Maul Ponkrell. The 20 cost Maul plus Ponkrell 1 die. No, you can't even do that. Hold on.
Stout. Wait, is he 12 or is he 11? Ponkrell. He's 12. Yeah, rip.
Yeah, he's 12.
Yeah, like I'm like thinking, oh man, you have to do 1 die Maul, 1 die Ponkrell, just so you can get everything on.
That sounds amazing. I think you just broke the meta right there, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just kind of like how they're moving towards these like cards that are like multiple things to do, but I feel like they're very like you usually only end up doing 1 in a deck, so it's one thing that stinks.
Yeah, they're being a little cautious with it, which
yes.
I get, but I like think about synchronicity, right? You had to spot two different things, and it was free, and you did 2 damage. I mean, if you want to think about it, you're paying 1, and you have to spot a Sith and a Jedi, which is really hard to do, and you're healing a damage with a shield-ish and dealing 1 damage. So, like, something much harder to do, costing you a resource, is doing less than a 0-cost event from back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see this really coming into play. And the art on Ezra was once again missed. He looks awful. He looks awful.
Have you seen that?
So now, is it Ezra or is it the artwork? Like, it could just be Ezra.
I like Blue Ezra. Blue Ezra looks fine.
You got lucky. I mean, there's probably like the correct lighting and everything. Like, you just got lucky. Like, it might be just Ezra. Just, you know.
We just all have beer goggles for Ezra, and then like the people are just drawing Ezra the correct way, and we're like, what?
Fair. All right. That's all the spoilers we got from the article. Any other comments on these? I mean, I think overall these were decent.
Looking forward to more.
Yeah, I can't wait for Sam, and we'll get into this now. But this is looking like a fun set.
Yes.
But this next one, we'll be getting into more negative things, I guess, in the podcast because that's all that's really happened in this past week. So it was the 3rd, actually, the same Friday that this article dropped. At night, I saw somebody share in one of the local Facebook groups. I think it was the Northern Virginia group, Total Access Game, like Todd's group. And somebody posted the changed, and so then I threw it in the Discords, and that's when it really started to blow up. And what happened is that FFG changed their shipping whatever thing page. Originally, it was going to be delivered on the 17th release, but now it changed to February, and then even later that night, it changed to nothing. So they had been talking about making that page more accurate and whatnot, so this change was very weird, and it came on a Friday night when people noticed. So, of course, we ping Matt Holland, and he's like, last I checked, it was coming out the 17th, but I'll check in on Monday. And so we have to wait a whole weekend with this.
Yeah, I bet Matt probably does, he works 10 hours or extra hours on Monday through Thursday, so he gets to leave early on Friday, so he probably didn't know when he left. That's what I'm guessing.
I mean, he's definitely, the fact that it's a Friday night, he's out living his life, and he actually answered. It's like, man,
right?
He's dedicated,
right? It's crazy that we have to we go to him for so much. I actually get super annoyed by people that ping him all the time because I don't want to lose him. He's so great for the community, but I hate the fact that he has to deal with this kind of stuff.
Yeah, he does seem like one of us though. He seems like somebody who genuinely loves Destiny too, and so. I think part of his willingness to do this is because he's, actually concerned about it. Him trying to find the set release probably came from the fact that he is also a little bit worried, about that. And is like, why would that happen? Why would it get delayed? I actually care about that too. But, yeah, there's definitely, an element of let's not abuse the power that he's given us by joining the Facebook group, by joining some of the Discords and stuff like that. We'll get an answer when he's not out with his friends and family on a Friday night.
Right. I really wish, why would they mess with it? I get maybe you don't leave it up over the weekend, but someone have had got an email to say, go remove this. And it could have just been as easy, instead of just removing a page saying, hey, quick announcement, guys. There's been some things. We're going to have more details on some of the shipments that got stuck in customs. I mean, even a tweet from OP or something like that, right?
Yep.
Don't change it on a website Friday before weekend at 5:00 and expect nobody to notice.
They overestimate how much of lives we have. It's in the Destiny community, so somebody's gonna see it.
Right.
It got delayed. As of right now, we don't know when it's coming out. Currently, we are still on course for Friday the 10th to be getting another spoiler article and still have the full release of all the cards, and then the OP article is still supposed to come out sometime next week. That is the current schedule of things. So they're still sticking to that despite the delay. The delay obviously affects myself and Shane and Flockton. I don't know if you committed yet, but
No,
LVO is not going to have covert missions anymore due to the delay. Like, even if it comes out the 24th, like, that'd be insane. Like,
That would be.
hey, I play at Friday at 8. Let me try to open a bunch of boxes at 6 in the morning and hope I get the cards, to play the deck that I want to play. I hope I pull Kanan, although he's a rare. So
He is a rare.
and his lightsaber. But so that would obviously be insane to have it. It was either the 17th or it wasn't happening, and now it looks like right now all we know is February. So we don't even have a release date at this point. And it's frustrating, but this is like something that I would think is directed more at Asmodee and Alliance rather than like FFG as we've known to be frustrated with. Oh, look who came just when we started talking about FFG.
I know. It's just like I heard it. I felt it in my soul.
That is really creepy.
You say FFG 3 times in the mirror, turn around, and then Scott's there.
I know. It's it's uncanny, right?
It's amazing.
Yeah, FFG. They're bud.
Scott comes in and makes me edit before
Comes in hot.
Well, Shane? Am I wrong?
I didn't say you're wrong. I just said it was a hot take right out the bat. But yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it really is. I think it's more Asmodee than FFG. You just can't have this kind of no communication delay. 6 months, what, 7 months? I don't know how many months now delay.
July.
Right? Like, you just can't have that stuff and expect a community to stick around. Like, if they were like, hey, guy, every month, like, we're going to tell you what's going on. Hey, sorry, here's exactly what it is. We're sorry. Please stick with us. What can we do? Let's change up the meta for you guys. Like, if they were just more like working with us, more partnership is what we feel like when we buy this product, then we're not going to tell you anything, and it's going to be 6 months.
Yeah, I mean,
6 months ish.
Yeah, you could tell they were expecting it to be either releasing before Worlds or like shortly after because of all the promos that they had.
Yep.
And out of OP's reach, out of like game designers' reach, it got delayed. It got delayed again, and it sucks. I don't know how many people are in my boat, but I bought in after CM was announced that it would be at LVO.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't do what you did.
I don't want to be too negative. I'm happy I'm going to LVO. I mean, it is a grand. It is a game I love to play.
It's good.
Oh, I was gonna say it's something I purchased to go to LVO before it. But I'll tell you this: like I did hate the roller coaster of, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I'm so glad I did this. To, oh, I have to go back and play this meta after seeing all these cards.
It's more the like. It's more. From my standpoint, I was looking at whatever the next covert missions and being like, I don't really want to buy a lot of it because, one, it's the third set in a block, so it spends the least amount of time being legal. Two, with all of like their issues between production and OP, it's like, I don't want to reward behavior that I have a problem with, in the sense of like they're not doing stuff that makes me want to give them my money. So I'm really glad I wasn't in a position where I'm like, all right, you know what? This is exciting. This is like, that's a trip. That's with the guys and everything. All right, I got to buy a few boxes because I need the cards that I want to have. I'm just glad I'm not in that position. Jack.
Yeah, well, now I just ordered a bunch of boxes that I'm still keeping anyways. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I truly believe this isn't like LVO is not the last thing we're gonna do. I do probably think there won't be any kind of like maybe some regionals on CM. But because who knows about the GQ stuff, right? But I don't think this will be the last. I'm not worried. I'm not doom and gloom, I guess. I'm just more disappointed because, in my opinion, it could have just been handled so much better, right? Before Worlds, hey guys, we were trying so hard to get this for you a couple weeks before Worlds. Hey, we messed up. We did X, Y, and Z. Or tariffs came in, whatever the reasoning is, just tell us. Like, we're not going to roast you for it. We're roasting you because you don't tell us anything.
Yeah,
But-
it's worse.
I think a lot of it has to do with they probably can't and shouldn't say anything about it. So, say this was like a misprint at in the factories in China, or whatever, and they can't. What are they supposed to do? Throw that company under the bus? That they messed up all of the product, whatever, and then that company loses possibly other people using that company, and then you don't want to screw them over. So, and then that hurts investors here with the company for FFG, where they see, oh wow, delays, blah blah blah, and this is why, and people start pulling out. So I feel like they really can't. If it's something like that, they really can't say anything.
Oh, they can
about
PR.
what
They can
happened.
spin it to be like, hey, they don't have to say a company in China messed up.
They don't have
or
to tell
even
us what company.
Well,
No, they
but,
just
but,
say
but
we
people would
had
know.
a
So if FFG does say something, then investors will know what company it was. I guarantee you, if we do a Google search, we might be able to find what factory and company makes it.
But investors already know that something's wrong there because the product is late anyway. Like, you can't hide the product being late.
Yeah, but if it doesn't really, the investors won't get out unless they know things are going to be bad.
What do you think is the structure of FFG's ownership?
What do you mean?
They're owned by Asmodee. They merged, so Asmodee acquired them. And then Asmodee is owned by a private equity firm in Europe. So it's not really nobody's investing in FFG that way.
It's
Yeah,
not
they don't have
FFG in
publicly
general, but it's
traded
also the other, the processing companies, across seas. And what makes me think about something like that was because as soon as there was a shipment delay, they came out and said, yeah, there's a shipment delay. So they came out and told us exactly what the problem was. But why are they so quiet about the other problem, about the original delay? I'm assuming they probably want to tell us, but they can't and shouldn't.
Or what the reason is on them.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
I'm pretty
they
sure
could've
why
just
they
made
didn't
it
say way to
generic
force
enough.
was.
I think they could've-
I'm not saying they shouldn't say more. They definitely should say more, but there's got to be a reason why. I mean, a lot of the times when stuff like this happens, the best is just not to say nothing. Sometimes the better thing is to say nothing, which is what they think is the best thing to do. Whether it is the best thing to do, we don't know, but they're taking the route of let's not say anything about it.
Then what they're going to end up doing is they're going to poison the well of Destiny at some point will die. It's not going. I don't think you're going to have any game, any CCG that's going to come out that's going to be like an evergreen game. I think the games that are evergreen games, they're already there. They already have their market share. So I think anything released will eventually die. So what you're trying to look at from a permanent standpoint is you want those players to transition into whatever product you then offer, whether it's another Star Wars product, another blah, blah, blah product. You want people that play Destiny to buy your other products. And what they're doing, and you see it a lot with people that have played a few Destiny games and have already been kind of seen this type of thing occur, you're getting to the stage where you're going to lose those players, and some of those players are very in depth into a number of FFG lines. So that's you start losing those type of players that played and bought everything that FFG made. That's a substantial kind of chunk out of their thing, and that's gonna happen when you are just radio silence, allowing weird things like OP to basically lapse, which is where we're at now. Nothing on the calendar has been announced for even longer than the delay that we're experiencing with the product.
Yeah, we'll definitely find out early next week when they give their OP announcement. So if the OP announcement comes out and they're here's everything we got going on for the future for organized play, I mean, then we're all freaking out over nothing.
Oh, for sure. And I was trying to say that I think that they could have had just a little bit better communication. That they don't have to throw anyone under the bus. Just make it generic. Tell them we're apologize. I mean, even just a little bit of, hey, sorry about this. We're trying our best. We're going to work with you. Let us know. Here's what we are going to do. Whatever they can tell us, instead of just. That's why Matt Holland's so great, right? Because he's giving us every little, even just a little bit of peace, and we're so grateful for that, right?
Yep.
Think how much we love Matt Holland. Think about if that came from the FFG OP Twitter instead of specifically Matt. We would feel much better about the company in general.
Yeah, Definitely fair point.
Yeah, you simply just say, hey, we messed up. We're working on it. But, I mean, their delays haven't just been manufacturing issues. Way of the Force, pretty sure, was delayed by somebody not telling manufacturing to start. So, there's that.
One thing I do want to mention on the OP article for next week, I don't know if we're going to speculate, but I want to speculate what I hope for Destiny in the future. And I hope that I would be okay with 2 sets a year, with things like the 2-player set, hopefully tested better than the 2-player set, but things like it twice a year. So you have like a core set come out, and then 3 months later you have less cards, less dice, but it's enough to where it's like a powerful grouping of cards like the 2-player set to shake up the meta. Then the next set comes out maybe before Gen Con, and then before Worlds is the next little 2-player thing to shake it up a little bit, and then you're going on to the next year. That solves less dice, less production for so much stuff, and then it's like a less investment as well for the players, where you're spending, $300 on boxes for 2 times a year, and then you're spending like $20 to $30 on a 2-player set.
I'll say the one thing, I wouldn't mind that either. I'm just worried about the OP article coming out and just keeping the boat the same. In that, hey, we're going to do a few more primes over the summer, something like that. Gen Con still happens, Nova still happens, World still happens. And to me, that just keeps the status quo. And like, I want to see some improvement from how we're ending in 2020. Like, if they make a replacement for GQs and give some fresh ideas to OP, I think that'll make me more excited, because I'm potentially worried that if we're talking about the game potentially ending due to issues or whatever it might be, if they just come out with an OP article just stating the very basic large event that people are probably going to go to anyways, then that doesn't instill confidence for like future 2021, because they could just go through, run this year down, and then OP could stop for Destiny if it's just like the basic stuff like this. So I'm just hoping that there's something that just makes me believe that they're trying to bring something new back into the fold and help like OP and make people want to play the game in a sustained way that isn't just the basic events we've always had.
Yeah, I 100% agree, and that's also my worry with the OP article. If they just come out and basically say, all right, here's the Destiny events that we're going to run, and they're all events that like coincide with, say, like Gen Con and Nova, and then like a Worlds at the FFG Event Center. None of those entail FFG going out of their way at all to run Destiny events, not even to the effort of making Yeti run Destiny events. So if that were to be what they were announcing, that would be a very easy thing for them to then pull the rug out from, as we've seen with their other games.
Yeah. I mean, I really hope that we get something. I mean, even since we've been recording on December 27th, they released the roadmap article for X-Wing, which was great, and I'm sure that the people who got that are excited, but, kind of being a game that is an X-Wing, that kind of feels bad a little bit. But what they said, organized play for 2020 for X-Wing is going to have 4 open play kits, 4 premium seasonal kits, 2 store champ kits, 1 prime championship kit, and then stores will have a lot of ways for you to play in 2020. Beyond that, there will be Grand Championships, Continental Championships, System Opens, and the World Championship for you all to aspire to. And now, of course, those are just promises, but at least there's intention there that you can tell FFG cares about OP and X-Wing, and that they want to push this. And, they talked about doing 2 store champs for Destiny. Is this year that we get that? That would encourage me if we see even something like that come back into the fold.
But that would entail more kits.
Right. See, and I don't know if I'm okay with, like, I think kits to me are something I don't want. Because we've seen how well that worked with Mr. Bones, right?
I've never seen a Mr. Bones in person.
Neither have I.
So, like, I don't. Kits to me are empty promises. I want more specific events somewhere. I want more GQ style stuff, but I want it to be slightly different. I want more of a like draw to come. I don't care if it's not at a con. I'll go LVOs at a con, but I mean, I don't need a con, right? I want it to be more spread out, maybe more like prestige, somehow to make it more enticing for people to go to these events. I mean, because Worlds was awesome. I think everyone would agree that was like one of my best time. I didn't make day 2, and I could have cared less because everyone was having a good time. I had a good time. I mean, it was amazing. It's the best event I've been to in a while. So
And they're not
I would love to.
replicating it.
Yeah, and they need to
Like,
figure out how to duplicate it.
The changes that we've already seen with, like, that's the hilarious thing. They have the best event they've ever run for the game, and then immediately one of the few things that we do know about Destiny OP moving forward is that Worlds is not going to be with X-Wing.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
it's just like, all right, cool. You know, you got, like, it worked. You don't need to fix it. Like, worked really well.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, and there was room to expand both games, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
I mean, I had
Like,
to leave in early, so I don't know exactly when the main events were going on, how much space there was. But even just being in there for the one, like Wednesday or whatever that was, it seemed like you could literally do whatever you wanted in that room. Like there was still plenty of space.
The best. It was plenty of space. You could go play test for your day if you needed to. Go join a pod. X-Wing was not crowded. Destiny wasn't crowded. It was great. It was perfect. I could see them, being. It was maybe a little too empty at times, but I don't see that being a huge concern unless they had a big price issue this year. And we didn't, 500 for X-Wing, 1,000 people, I think in that area couldn't have paid for it. I don't know what could really.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, like, if you're gonna take it away from X-Wing, that's fine. Entice me, make it, somewhere not Minnesota. Maybe make it travel, like maybe closer to people that are local, and say, hey, we're gonna have Worlds here, and then our next schedule is to have, we're gonna space out all these cool events all over the country, so nobody's like left out, and we'll hope you come to blah 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 wherever. I just, you got to give it. You're gonna take something away. Give me something a little bit to be excited about.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. And the weird part of that too, of that it being separated, is that X-Wing is still at the Roy Wilkins Auditorium. Like it's not like, oh hey, something messed up, we couldn't get the space anymore. Like they still have the space October 8th to 11th. So it's very weird.
Yeah, what else are you gonna put there? Legion? I mean,
That's at isn't that Adepticon? Isn't that Worlds
but
at
Adepticon, right? So what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Unless you're expanding, trying to double like X-Wing like player, but I don't know how much bigger they're gonna get either.
Yeah, there comes a point where it's like you're just not like you're not going to get an X-Wing tournament any bigger.
Yeah, you have a max somewhere.
Yeah, like there is definitely a max of a number of people that are going to be willing to travel and play that level of competitive anything.
Yeah.
And honestly, like knowing FFG games in the past, getting 500 people at an event, 400 people at an event, that's beyond what they've done for most games.
Even their like cash cow Keyforge doesn't get I heard 200 maybe at most for the first.
I mean, that was what was it? Obviously not this year's GQ, but last year's GQ. It was like Destiny got close to 100 people each, all 3 days, despite some of those days being trilogies. And then Keyforge didn't get over 40 people.
Yeah, we had more than them each day.
I don't know if Keyforge, as far as the main event Keyforge organized play, I don't know what their goal is with that or what it really is. And I even saw an interesting thing today regarding the Keyforge tiebreakers. It's basically impossible if the time gets called and you're the active player for you to win the game. Because if you don't win by the end of your turn, apparently the way it works is the other player gets a whole nother turn. And you forge keys at the beginning of your turn, so there's no way.
And I played Keyforge quite a bit. At the end of the game, once that other person takes their turn, you forge keys if able. So that means if you were at 2 keys and they're at 2 keys, but you had enough to forge key at your next turn, you would forge that key, and then you go to resources. It wasn't. I actually gone to time and it didn't feel too bad. But I still think the game's. I think they will make money on that game, even if they didn't if they put the level of effort into Keyforge that they put in Destiny, their profit margin is going to be the same. I don't think they're going to explode Keyforge into this competitive cash prizes that they have.
They don't have the ability to as a company. They're not structured, or honestly, they don't have. Even Keyforge has had distribution problems.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of stories about store owners who are frustrated with it because first that they couldn't get enough to fulfill the orders they were getting for people, and then it kind of waned, and people kind of bought the second set, but that was a little bit of a disappointment. And then like third set, people they bought as much as they could because they thought it would still be like the previous two, and now they're just like sitting on all this. Like it almost seems like a similar story to Awakenings block. Like Awakenings wasn't there, people couldn't get it. Spirit Rebellion was kind of fine in what they did, but then a lot of stores overbought Empire at War. Like I think that's like got to be the most bought set of any Destiny. Like I still walk into stores and still see like at least 10 boxes of Empire at War just sitting on the shelves. Like unless the stores just give them away, like they're just sitting there, and there's so many. And I feel like that is currently happening to Keyforge right now due to the issues they had in their early game.
And it doubles up because Target got the stuff early.
Yeah, that's a real kicker.
It's real kicking the knackers.
I also see like Keyforge probably makes them more money per thing sold just because they don't have to pay IP to Disney like they do with Star Wars games and Marvel games. So it's their own IP, so basically every cent they get, it goes right to them. So even if they have half as many people playing Keyforge as Star Wars Destiny, they probably still make more off of Keyforge. So they rather try to keep those people and maybe pull more people in because of that reason.
Yeah, you're not wrong, because obviously like the thing with Star Wars, like all right, then you get a bunch of art that you don't have to necessarily commission. It's already done, but like art doesn't really cost anything because artists get paid terribly. Like that's one of those things. Like the same thing. Like game designers also get paid really bad because they get to like kind of hold it over your head. Like you get to design games for a living, so we're not going to pay you. And it's the same thing with the art. Oh, you get to design art for this really cool game, as if like
that's a privilege.
That's it's a privilege. I'm going to pay you an exposure.
Yeah. All right. So all of this is kind of overarching too. So we mentioned the delay here, and that came out on Monday. And one of the big things that really blew up the community, we've been waiting for OP. Events haven't been getting, GQs have been canceled. And just, it all kind of blew up. I guess it was yesterday. There was a big thing on Reddit where it came out, massive layoffs at FFG. So they completely closed down their Fantasy Flight Interactive, which doesn't affect us at all in terms of Destiny.
Did that company even do anything?
They did Lord of the Rings Online, whatever that was.
Yeah, they were supposed to start making like actual video games.
Yeah,
was the idea behind it.
Yeah. So they did that, and then they in the post as well, they specifically mentioned that a lot of the RPG staff and departments or whatever were let go. And of course, before we get into really just talking about this and any comments that we'll make, of course, like this is. We, of course, have frustrations at FFG, but, this is awful for all the people involved, people like losing their jobs. It isn't just simply us losing games. It's simple for us. But yeah, they're losing their livelihoods. They got to go out and potentially change where they're working, all these things. So, of course, that sucks for them. That goes without saying in that regard. And the concerning part of this, as we dive deeper into this, like Reddit thing, is that, so as I just mentioned, it was Fantasy Flight Interactive and the RPGs that were hit, but as it goes down, this one guy says he was laid off from Asmodee North America, which shares the office with FFG, but it talks about them biting off way too much, and with Marvel license, with Star Wars license, with Keyforge coming out, and eventually goes in talking about Star Wars as a rocky fandom, but hopefully new ships and characters from 9 and Mandalorian will boost some lines. Look for a big Armada push since Expansion 2 or whatever isn't carrying the water like it did. Destiny is effectively dead, is what he says, and Imperial Assault is also dead. And so that obviously...
Imperial Assault's dead.
Oh yeah, we knew that for a little while. But obviously, yeah, this jumps out at us. But the issue and concern that came to light today, this person was fired a month ago for falling asleep on the job. So this seems to be somebody who is very salty at FFG, and it kind of is coming from that place. Having said that, though, you have to wonder why, even if he's bitter at FFG, like why would he specifically say like Destiny's dead. Like it's not like he's like X-Wing is dying, Armada's dying, Legion's dying, get out of everything. He specifically singled out Destiny and Imperial Assault, which is a little concerning, and it just really has made for a rough day and a half. I didn't really get to even enjoy locals too much last night, simply because it just wasn't a good time for that. But I think the overarching thing is that, how much do we put into this? How much do we put into the stock of a Mr. Wright Sparrow is his name on Reddit? Do you guys feel the game is effectively dead? Is Destiny done? Is set 10 going to be our last one? Is set 9 going to be our last one? Does anybody have
I
any
personally
thought?
don't think so.
Flockton's the optimist.
Yep. Not so much the optimist, but like, how much can you? Someone that got fired for sleeping on the job, can you really trust them? And them saying that Destiny's effectively dead could just be like he said, she said kind of thing, where they overheard it, or they just know that the Destiny community is very loud and very upset and wants to know. And what's another way to get back at Destiny is to basically tell all the Destiny players that are already upset, hey, it's dead, and then everyone cancels all their pre-orders for covert missions, and everyone starts selling all their cards, and that could really ruffle up some feathers there at FFG if they can, get people to think that the game is dead.
Well, yeah, I definitely agree there. The only caveat to that I'll say is no one would be really putting too much stock. I mean, I'm sure some people would, but like no one would really be thinking much about this post if it wasn't also kind of corroborated by everything that's going on. Like that's the real crux of everything. It's not one, because Destiny's had issues to begin with. Like it's had something going on all the time, whether it's like bad OP structure or delays or weird stuff. It's had something, but it's never had like this conflux, this convergence of things. And the most troubling of being the constant like rumors that nothing has been play tested for a while.
Yeah.
That's the one that above all else is what would be like the giant red flag in my view, because knowing other product lines of FFGs that have gone under, that's what happened. Like they stopped putting stuff into the playtest group, and then like it gets to the point where like if you don't put stuff in playtest, you're not going to put stuff into production, and then you're done.
Yeah. So, and I'm an FFG noob, right? That's my first game. How long have other games lasted, right? I don't want to talk about Netrunner because they were even testing Netrunner, and that was a surprise to even the playtesters that it would get canceled. It was a IP conflict, but I don't think they have that with Destiny. So I'm trying to figure out, like, is it typically 3 years, 5 years? Because Armada's still going, right? They say Armada's dead, but Armada's played at Nova, and there was like 17 people, and we had almost 100. Like, you can't compare that, right? Like, that's not those two things are not dead.
It's a hard comparison to make, like miniatures games versus CCG. So like a miniatures game like Armada is not made for tournaments. It takes like 3 hours to actually play a stupid game of it. You need 6 feet of table. Armada
that's Legion, right?
And Legion's kind of the same way. Armada and Legion could be very successful games and never have worlds be big, just because you don't get that kind of thing with those type of games. And those type of games also are going to have like way different margins and release schedules. Like with miniatures games, you can do very sporadic. You don't need to have releases come out regularly. You can, the FFG model, if it gets here when it gets here, actually kind of works with miniatures games because that's very normal for that industry. Having played miniatures games before, whereas with CCGs, the norm for the industry is very like well known. Like I could tell you when Magic sets are going to come out for like the next year. So you're operating in like two different markets there. But from previous FFG games, so like say the Star Wars LCG, that lasted for like, let's say Destiny doesn't make it through the year. That lasted for longer than Destiny, but it also put out less cards than Destiny, despite lasting longer.
That's
just
interesting.
because-
I didn't know that. That's pretty interesting.
So you got to think of it this way, like LCGs, they have these deluxe boxes, not too dissimilar to what you were mentioning as far as like maybe what would be a better product structure for them. And then they also have cycles of cards. And like deluxe boxes are going to say, let's say like 130 unique cards, and then the cycles maybe are like 180. So
the
cycle-
L5R model, right? It's just like L5R.
Yeah,
Got it.
The cycle is 6 packs that get released over 6 months. So it's basically like you're putting out a set-sized cycle, but it's over 6 months. So that's going to obviously elongate your lifespan, even though you've released the same amount of stuff. You've designed the same amount of product.
Gotcha.
I mean,
I just have a hard time believing that like Destiny would die before L5R or any of the other LCGs. Like I get it.
Yeah.
It's harder to produce, supply chains, all this stuff. But I was thinking 5 years. I think I was get 5 years out of this game, and then it would die. That's really what.
anything that is owned by FFG license-wise will probably stick around longer just because they own it. And they own L5R.
Gotcha. Yeah, I guess
just
I'm not
fair,
too. Oh, good. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, just from a cost standpoint, or just like you're going to make more money, you own it. And you own it, you paid money for it, so you need to get something out of it.
Yeah, and I'm not doom and gloom. As I said, I don't think this will be the last one. I think we'll get set 10. This guy's opinion, while probably informed a little bit, could just be more of a what's getting the more attention at that time, right? You know, I work in a project team, and we spend time on one thing and then move to the next. It doesn't mean we forget about the last thing. It just the cycle continues, right?
Yep.
So I could see that being the case there. My concern is your shared one, where I want, please, somebody that's willing to break the NDA, tell us when set 11 goes up, because that will alleviate my worries way more.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to have issues with that news.
Yeah, I think that'll circulate the Discords pretty quickly.
It's just
Yeah.
playtest group looks like a sieve.
Yeah, I'm in like two boats of this, and it really depends on the hour that you talk to me, I guess, of how I'm feeling. On one hand, you could take, again, you don't even have to take what he's saying exactly, but all the things that we felt for the past few months of Destiny, and then add them up to something of this happening, something like this happening. And it doesn't surprise me at all, the idea that FFG bit off too much, more than it can chew type thing. They're starting to scale back, not just in staff, but in the games they're putting out. And it wouldn't surprise me if set 9 even is the last set, and that we don't even see set 10, and they just kind of finish out through the year with some balance changes to keep things fresh a little bit. And that is like the worst case scenario, and sometimes I feel like I'm there, and that's probably where I started out yesterday. But I feel like I'm slowly starting to crawl back a little bit into still worried, but not as doom and gloom as I was yesterday when this news first broke. But then I'm also curious is that when they're revamping their structure, as we've clearly seen, with a lot of people being let go, sadly, like is FFG, what was the exact wording that I just read? Nothing's in the works, or effectively dead. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if they're just stopping what they're doing right now and just kind of reassessing all the situations that they have. And if, like, Covert does well and still brings in money for FFG, then they'll be like, okay, maybe we will kind of greenlight set 11 or whatever the next set is that they haven't been testing yet. And now I'm not saying that in that any player should feel guilt, or any like buddy listening to this should feel guilty into buying covert mission boxes, because if you're worried about FFG in the future of this game, you know, I'm not blaming you on that at all, and I'm not trying to guilt you into buying because it'll help the game. You know, that can almost be like a negative cycle of like the game's already over, you're just kind of giving them more money on the way out the door type thing. And I get that sentiment, so don't take it in that sense, but just this idea of that covert missions, if it does well while they're reassessing everything, will that kind of greenlight set 11 and, you know, things like GQs and restructuring OP or whatever it might be. But if it does poorly, are they going to pull the string? And like, I feel like I'm starting to get into that camp, but that could just be blind optimism in that I'm hoping that it's that type of thing. But
it's flocktimism.
Flocktimism.
Optimism. Come to the good side.
I'm somewhere in between you guys.
You need to come to LVO because I'm going to give you a flocktism. I'm going to lift you up with some flocktism, whatever it was. So think about this.
It's very hard to say. It took me a second to wrap my mind around it before I said it.
But think about it this way, right? So, Jack, if your worst case scenario comes true, I'm super happy that I bought into LVO because I doubt like a lot of the community people that I love seeing at these events will buy into Gen Con and Nova, and maybe people will go to the Last Worlds, whatever, But maybe the last time I get to see you because we don't really play any other games, and I like seeing you at the events, and I get to see Agent of Zion and everyone else that I like seeing at these events because I don't know if they'll go to the next one if your worst case scenario goes true. So the fact that I bought into LVO makes me feel much better to see people that I share this this game with, even if it is the worst case scenario.
Yeah, and that's kind of what kept me going because when the news came out that Covert Mission was delayed too, I don't know if I said this earlier, but I was just debating eating the plane ticket to.
You did. You said it in Discord.
I said in Discord. I was on the podcast. But just eating the plane ticket, eating the con badge, and then saving the money that I know I would spend while I'm there on like food, beverage, and gambling a little bit or
a lot of beverage.
A lot of beverage.
Don't say a lot of beverage.
I don't. Well, somebody's got to take care of you and Brian, evident from World. So who knows?
Next time you do something, it's Brian's turn to take care of me.
Because
that was god awful. I love you, Brian, but I'm never doing that again.
So
we took care of who at Nova because that's what I remember seeing.
Oh, Brian at Nova.
We didn't really take care of him. Jack and I just kind of left him in the hotel, and he was like 2 hours later showed up. He was like, I think I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I didn't think he was going. We were up till like 2 a.m. yelling about EMP versus Doubt. Brian just sitting there cursing up a storm at me and Flockton. That was good. But yeah, I was debating just not. Lose the money on that, but save money in that I'm not having to spend stuff while I'm out there. But ultimately, what kind of pulled me is that, one, I love competing. So I know that I'm going to go and I'm going to have a good time competing in that tournament regardless. And then, just as you mentioned as well, Shane, like I'll get to see people that who knows if I'll have a chance of seeing again or even meet them for the first time. A lot of West Coasters I haven't seen or had a chance to meet yet. So we'll kind of see how that goes. And I don't know. That was just one of the things that kind of pulled me in and kept me going because I think Worlds could still have a big draw, like you said, Last Worlds, if this is it. Not convinced that it necessarily is, but that could still draw people just as one last hurrah. But I want to be safe anyways.
Yep.
So yeah, this was a fun week for Destiny. Fun week for.
At least there was a news cycle.
Yeah, we have stuff to talk about.
That's true. And we do have stuff to look forward to, right? We have this week, we're going to, I think next week when you guys do this or whatever the cadence is, you'll have something to talk about and hopefully it's good, or you'll have, the speculation, you'll have some closure, hopefully.
Yeah, at minimum, we'll have a spoiler article in the full set, and ideally the OP article is out by Wednesday morning as we record Wednesday night.
I mean, they better get it out before that Ask Me Anything on the 21st, or they're going to be banning the entirety of Twitch chat.
It's going to be. I feel bad for him. He's going to get eaten alive if they don't do something.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
Matt was confident that it was this week. He said it was his fault that he said it would be out this week, the 6th to the 10th. He apologized. He said he jumped the gun on that. I told him I was going to yell at him at LVO, but he said it will be out sometime between the 13th and 17th, kind of implying earlier in the week, but who knows?
Oh, well, we're talking LVO. I don't want to miss this because it is important. There was also, Matt said that they're trying, and I want to stress trying, to get CM product there. So it's also going to be like one of those what was
like Adepticon Convergence? When they ship?
No, it's like, like they're shipping the product out there so we can play side events, all that cool stuff. So that's the kind of communication that's really like what I was trying to say earlier. Sorry, we messed up. Here's what we can do for you. We're trying to get better. Like that's all. That's all you need for a community to rally behind you, and I think that's awesome.
And that's Matt. Like I'm pretty sure that's all. Like Matt saw that happen, and then he talked with like Zion and Gandork, and I feel like it's like his personal vendetta right now to get that. But I would not be shocked if we show up and there's literally nothing. Like no, I'm not. Grand prizing too. Like it wouldn't shock me if FFG just didn't send the box because none of this from what I've heard, they haven't lifted a finger. All they did was just approve it. Whereas it was Artificery, it was Yeti, Zion, and Gandork who just literally did everything. Found the space, contacted realtors, did whatever they needed to do to get space. And so it wouldn't surprise me if FFG is just like, oh yeah, I forgot our box.
We need more of that. In my opinion, we need that's what FFG should be accepting and being like, thank you guys for this. This is perfect marketing. We love it. What can we do?
I mean, if that's what they want OP to be, then just
say that.
Do that.
Yeah.
Because you can't, like, the community's not going to. You can't split the difference. You can't have FFG running OP and then the community running OP, like one or the other.
Yeah.
I think it could be. I think it could be a community like LCG, like your local stores. FFG could send those kits when they have time.
Yeah,
right?
I mean like community ran grand
type thing.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll say that I tried helping out. Like when I realized that PAX Unplugged was having nothing, I tried to see if I could do anything. But maybe that was a little bit harder with Yeti being involved, Yeti Gaming. When I mentioned Yeti earlier for the Grand, just know that it was Pearl Yeti from Artificery, not Yeti Gaming.
Good Yeti, not bad Yeti.
Yeah. Bad Yeti and worse Yeti, really. Don't cloud his ego. I'm just messing.
Comparatively speaking, yeah. It's good.
No, I like Yeti.
That was the big thing that was kind of like the real twist of the twist of it with the Yeti games. Like, people tried to reach out to them being like, I will run your event, I will run this Destiny event for you. And they were like, nah.
It's literally like the basic, like, I even talked to Matt, I was like, hey, can you ask, like, the people above you? Like, I can run 6 rounds of Destiny. Like, that's so easy. Like, and then I'll send you the name who wins.
It's very easy to do.
Yeah.
It's very easy to do to the level of, like, what's considered a competent Destiny event, because we've had some events where it's like, you don't need to know next to anything about Destiny rules to have judged a large Destiny event.
Yeah. And I'll say too, like, I don't mind if it goes that route, and that's more work on content creators or just anybody who would step up in the community. But just looking at like stuff like Kappa Cup up here in the Northeast in Pennsylvania, last year that was just like a charity event. At least in terms of Destiny, that had gone on before that for other games. But it was a charity event last year. This year ended up being a Prime. And it's like, if they're talking about stuff that they want run, like, all right, well, like, let's talk about having a conversation. It's not like a con, really, because it's not large like that. But and I know that might be another like boundary for them to have to deal with. But hey, if they want to start doing that and they want to up us, if there's anything above a Prime that we can get, or if we can be a Prime and like do GQs type stuff on the side that they have prizing for, like, I'm in. I'll work. I'll set that up. But it's a matter of them like letting me do that. They, like I said, PAX Unplugged, they just didn't really even seem to care. And I get that could have been issues with Yeti. So I don't know the background stuff. But
yeah, they need to see this. They need to see our enthusiasm as money, right? We're giving them free money to do stuff for the community that sells their game. Yep. So I don't get the reason they don't like it or whatever. I think they would want more of it if they could, but here's hoping.
Yeah.
Flocktivism.
I can't say it. I'm not gonna try.
All right, we'll move off FFG and just kind of negative aspect. We do have some Patreon questions that we want to try to squeeze in the next like 10 minutes, so we're not too much over 2 hours.
Yeah, it's my fault for coming on the phone.
Way to go, Scott.
Man, I talked way too much too, so Bobby keeps me going on ours. It's like, oh, I want to talk for more. No,
he's good at that, man. He moves you guys on. So I still feel like I get a lot of info, but it's like a 50-minute cast, and I feel like I learn stuff. When like us, we're talking about who knows what for a half hour.
Gotta have fun though, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right, so the first one is from Jank It Up Brian. He says, Palp and Raylo seem to be at the top of the mountain, at least for this week. Which do you feel could get even stronger considering the CM spoilers have been released so far, and why? I think both get a little bit better. And I don't know if Raylo gets that much, but they get Anakin Saber, and then Palp gets Deathfield and Sheehan Mastery. Who knows if both go in, but still having both of those options for him seem pretty good.
Yeah, I think they're both poised to continue being something you're going to. It's going to be like, you always test the old stuff with the new stuff to see where it goes. And those two are definitely going to be something you have to keep an eye on no matter what, I think.
Yep.
Though I'm going to take a hot take and say that Bane will be better than Palp.
Ooh, I think Bane's going to be better than people think, but I like that. That's interesting.
I mean, we could go from Delve Fist to Delve Field.
Oh, it's that way. It's
You
the
don't
way
have
it goes.
to. You don't have to delve it first round. If it's the first thing you're playing, I'll just
Right.
play for 3.
I mean, yeah. I mean, well, yeah.
But late game.
Yeah, there's Shien on what's his face. That thing's brutal. But yeah, like I think Palp will get more from what we've seen so far from CM rather than Raylo, because a card like Deathfield looks as if it might have that same Vader's Fist capacity to get out of hand very early in a game, and having that ability in a deck that can also just play a normal paced game makes the decks much better.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting 3 times that rolled out each game with Palp.
Yeah. When you can accidentally roll your opponent off the table and then also just beat them normally, that's what has made the decks that have needed to be, balanced.
Yep.
I do think Palp wins slightly. If I had to say which one's gaining so far, I'd say Palp's a little bit higher than Raylo, but they're both, I think, still needed to be tested.
All right, next one is Malicious Moloch. Did you read the potential Rebel spoilers? How much in percentage do you think it could be true? On a scale to Womp Rat in Beggar's Canyon to Salacious Crumb when Leia is in that metal bikini, how excited does it make you?
I don't read spoilers. I don't know.
I glanced at them because I don't like spoilers either. I just wanted to get some of the details in the beginning, but it's talking about fall 2020, I believe. But I'm excited either way. I think a lot of the stories, without reading what they were, just knowing the options they have of Sabine and Ahsoka, of Ezra and Thrawn, it gets me excited.
I got to finish season 3 first, but I think I can do it.
I just watched season 1 over the past 2 days.
It's good.
I mean, that's not the I just watched it again. I was just bored and it was on.
Yeah, I'm halfway through season 2 on my rewatch.
Season 2 is so good.
Yeah.
I don't know how season 3 could be better, but if it is, it's gonna be.
Yeah, they're all good. So yeah, I'm 100% excited. Whether or not all of it's true, I didn't really read it to care specifically about that stuff. But as long as we get Rebels back, that's all I need to know, because I trust what they're doing there. So
what's Beggar's? So again, is Beggar's Canyon from 1 where he's talking about I could shoot something off Beggar's Canyon?
That's the spot just in Tatooine. I think it's like a specific.
Luke and Biggs used to race their T-16 Skyhoppers through Beggar's Canyon.
That's what it was. Yeah,
gotcha.
That's why he makes the comment. It's going to be like bullseyeing Womp Rats in Beggar's Canyon.
Got it.
There you go. All right. Alan Irish, how drunk will Brian be in Vegas? I'm gonna go with very.
Infinite
amounts.
So it sounds like Jack's taking care of Brian.
Flock's taking care of him again. It's just tradition at this point, right?
But I'm not going. I might not be going though. I still didn't take off from work.
You should.
I gotta get up the courage to because I just took off 2 weeks for holidays. I gotta get the courage to ask for 2 more days off.
Better hurry up. It's 2 weeks away now.
Yeah. Well, the flight ticket will be free for me. So. So my dad has a free ticket, and it expires in March. So he said I can take it.
Nice.
So you have to go now.
So now I gotta get the courage to ask my boss to take 2 more days off.
I believe
somebody has to take care of Brian. It sounds like.
Yeah.
And it's gotta.
So Dark Jar Jar asked, "What's the best Spectre deck based on what's spoiled so far?" I think the best Spectre deck is going to be Kanan, Chopper, and somebody else.
Does it have to be all Spectre?
I don't know. He said best Spectre deck.
I mean, I really see Kanan with another Spectre, because just having that -1 is so good.
Yeah, I feel like if you're playing Kanan, you're playing another Spectre at least, because you only need 1 to trigger his ability.
Yeah. it seems like, I mean, there's enough. It's not as if the other specters are bad, so there's no reason to not slot one in.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna dive into the Destiny DB of Shane here, and I'm gonna give you. Let me find it real quick. It is a built to last deck because I want that Kanan redeploy. It has a youngling,
Youngling in it.
Because
You
Kanan's a Jedi.
Possible points.
And then so it's E Kanan, E Chopper, Youngling, built to last.
Yeah.
So I'm looking to just go kind of aggro with it a little bit and see if I can get like 2 weapons down right away, and just hopefully one of those is Kanan Saber and go to town. And it lets me have like garbage chute online. It lets me have. It's kind of an interesting one. I don't know if it'll go anywhere, but I'm excited to play that one.
If you could have gotten red in there to get that salvaged arm, then you could like double dip on discounts.
Yeah, this is where I was like, I'm building a chopper deck, but I don't have any red, and I'm like, why do I have chopper here? But I'm like, nobody else. I do want like Infus Nest and Hollow Stone Blaster for like built to last, so I'm like, I guess I need and easy picking and instigate. I'm like, I probably need yellow, or else I just put like a blue Ezra there.
Yeah, no, I think I think you do need more than one color. I don't think mono blue hero can carry itself in that type of deck.
But I'm building this on the hopes on the backs of a guard reprint, please. Please,
I'd wager against that.
I would do.
Just
Alan,
based on the sides of the dices that we've seen on some things, I'm like, I don't think they'd reprint guard into this.
yeah.
Meta.
Make guard cost 1. I'll be okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly brings the balance closer to what it probably should have been.
Like
Yeah.
I mean, just give me some better multi-die removal for.
Yeah. All right, Alan says, will Ray ever be seen again? Probably not. He had a foot out a door, and I think even after Worlds he was done. I think Ray's out. Thunder. He got traded to the Loops and hasn't been seen since. I think you guys locked him in the basement.
I know
Is there something
something
similar? You guys must have something similar. Like you got to beat one of the loops to get out of the basement, and like just stuck there, dude.
He hasn't been able to escape.
You can't.
Just like Brian's. That's why Brian's not casting tonight. He's locked in the closet. He hasn't beaten me yet.
It's just on the struggle bus.
Yeah.
Got to beat the dragon to beat the dragon, right?
Yeah. Banana Crapshoot says, given covert missions is delayed, and it could be the last that we see, what are your thoughts on Meghan Markle and her whatever royal husband leaving the royal family? Couldn't care less.
That's what you get to do when you're not going to be king.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Hey, that's what he's not. He doesn't get to be king, so he gets to do what he wants.
I didn't know who Meghan was, so I had to Google it and found out.
Didn't like
she's married to the younger brother.
Yeah.
Didn't the older brother though take a break too?
Yeah, but this apparently, as I'm told with this, they didn't really like tell anyone. They were just like, "Yeah, this is happening," so it wasn't.
Oh, it wasn't like announced. It was just they stopped for a little bit.
No. In this case, they like whatever. Harry and Meghan, they are just like, "Nah, we're done," and it wasn't like discussed with the rest of the royal family.
Rebels.
Hey, he's the second son. He gets to do what he wants.
All right, I'm going to skip Banana's next question. His next one is Serdapi the Shane that Tommy wishes was his actual brother? Probably. There's a good chance of that. And then he says, how many people should Tommy and I let join the side scheme, which is their Marvel Champions podcast? And I'm one person, so one. Keep Scott outside. Dude, he gave me the wrong rulings on stuff. So, he's out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There.
All right, so Batman Anderson has a few questions that are operating under the assumption that Covert Missions is the grand finale. With Amazon and perhaps other stores having deep discounts on booster boxes, how much time do we have before prices go back up due to scarcity? I think you have time.
For like older boxes?
Probably any. It says deep discounts on booster boxes, so yeah, I imagine he's saying like, I mean, Legacies, Way of the Force are all pretty cheap right now. So I don't know. But even like, how long will the boxes? I mean, they drop pretty quick on Amazon. Like they're generally even under 80, like relatively quickly. So I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't expect any prices to jump like until after 2020 Worlds in terms of scarcity.
Right. Like I mean, I'm looking here at Spark of Hope, still $86. Let's see here.
Yeah, Spark of Hope's 86. Convergence is still 86.
Way of the Force is 35.
Across the Galaxy is still 86. Okay. So,
I mean, I don't know what I would say if you're trying to get into the old stuff, buy it up. I don't think you're gonna get a better deal, and I don't think you should be like trying to play the market. I don't think you don't play Destiny for the singles market.
Nope. He has another question. He has 3 total. This is the second one. Which factor had a bigger influence on Destiny's current limbo status? TTS cannibalizing its player base, or OP's lack of events and prizes? I'm gonna go with OP here.
Yeah,
I don't
understand the TTS
more avenues for people to play is ever the problem.
If I didn't have TTS, I wouldn't be playing Destiny.
Yeah, there's so many people that basically say like most of their gaming is done through TTS, but they also buy cards because then they'll like go to events occasionally.
Yep.
TTS, the cause of this.
Yeah, I mean it's probably one of the best ways to keep a form of OP in tournaments going after if OP stops having people like Artificer run events. So, yeah, I think it's just been the lack of events, prizes, communication on OP and FFGs and delays, things like that. Next question is, when is Golden Dice, Arrowbrook, Hyperloops, Thunder, Destiny, Con Tournament, and how will you book it in Hoboken? What's the East Coast equivalent of Las Vegas Open? Technically Nova.
Hoboken.
I like this by him.
I mean, Hoboken's not too bad, actually. Secaucus next to Hoboken is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Well, isn't it like to be like a giant tournament in Jack's basement? That
There
could
we
be
go.
like the New Jersey Open or Jack's basement Open.
Jack has access to a church.
Yeah, we could do
true.
it literally across the street in a giant like center where you can set out. We could hold a huge tournament basically, and I've gotten approval to do that if we could.
Outdoor Destiny parking lot.
We could just go inside to the giant building.
Yeah, true.
Well, it's
Jack,
funny
you can
because
stay outside.
when FFG was talking about like people applying will be more like willing to give stuff away, I was like, can I just get like a Prime kit to host at my store? I'm like, well, you got to go through somebody or something like that, or not at my store, at my work, and they're just like, no, you have to like get it through somebody. I was like, all right, whatever. The game store's here. I don't think so. So that didn't happen. But Chip actually did text me the other day about doing a combined tournament as one last potential hurrah for people sometime in like March, April, May. So we'll see if that can materialize. I would love to partner with him and do something like that. So that would be cool.
Yeah, I think that's what we kind of alluded to. I think we'd be willing to do stuff like that. We just need more support, okays, and hey, you want a kit? Yeah, we'll send you a kit. Like even if we have to purchase the $20 kit, right? Like I would take it to run a tournament.
Yeah.
Even I think we could get there, and I hope they will.
It is really funny when you think like, all right, FFG's like standing on ceremony about where they want to give kits and that type of stuff, and it's like, if you're gonna do that, it seems really weird that you would also then now have this like void of where they haven't announced anything for OP for months.
Yep.
It's like either care or don't care. Don't half care.
Don't tell me what to do, Scott. Banana asked another question. You can't play Iron Man Justice. He's coming at me here because that's all I play in Marvel. What deck are you playing to take on Green Goblin Mutagen Formula? I'd probably just play Captain America. Leadership. That's what I would play.
The new Thor deck that came out.
Yeah, I would buy Thor for $300 and play him. Nathan says, which content creators are your competitors and why is it DTSD? I actually think the Prime this weekend in Maryland is going to be like 5 golden dice, 5 discard to reroll people. So we'll see how that pans out.
Who's D2SD?
It's discard to reroll. But somebody gave him
I know I
another
just haven't been on their
friendly name,
podcast yet, so I'm just gonna throw.
yeah. Ignore them. That's fair. And last one from Nathan: who's the superior Shane? Everyone must answer. I'm gonna go with Serdapi here.
I have to go with myself, right?
I go with Shane.
I go with Shane.
He doesn't spell it like Shyne, right?
True.
No, his parents aren't that weird. They are weird.
I wanted to say, but you said you beat me to it.
That's amazing.
Love you, Shane.
Lori Hoof. That Lori.
All right. We will start to close down now. We're over 2 hours. So Shane, do you have plugs you wanna throw out?
Yeah, check out the hyperloops.com. We have 250 Patreon people. It's a lot of discussion. You'll love it. I was a coaching tier for the Loops. You know, they helped me get to where I am today, and then they asked me to join the team, which was amazing. So I cannot plug those guys enough. And I plan on trying to be on our Loops podcast, and so check us out on YouTube or Facebook as you see it, and then always hit me up if you ever need anything. I'm usually pretty open to discussing out of the box ideas. So anytime, Serdapi on most Discords or Shane. Most people, if you say, hey, ask for Shane on most Discords, they'll know who to point you to.
So you said ask for anything, so I can ask you to take care of Brian?
No.
So what's your
You
next
gonna take care of
deck?
me? If I take care of Brian and then you take care of me, does that mean you're by osmosis taking care of Brian?
Yeah, I think I'll pass on all of the above. All right, for us, for Golden Dice, obviously we're a podcast. If you're listening to this, we got Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch as well that you can follow us on. Of course, give us a review on any of those platforms. That would be much appreciated. We are an affiliate on Twitch, so you can, of course, gift us the Amazon Prime membership that you have through Twitch, this subscription that you get for free. So you probably have one just sitting there, and we'd be more than happy to be able to use that, put that to use within our podcast. We've been dropping a lot of videos lately on YouTube, recording our weekly games in my basement and throwing them up. I think the one today was me beating Flockton on Snow Commando Mud, and I was on Qui-Gon Yoda, so yeah, it's really good out there. So yeah, those videos are out there. If you guys are still looking to order some singles of past sets, or if you're looking to pre-order Covert Missions, I encourage you to head over to GameShopOfDestiny.com. Nick's a really great guy that we've been working with lately, and if you use Golden Dice for your single orders, you can get 15% off your order. I know he's still taking orders, and I believe he even does a rare uncommon common set for Covert Missions. So if you're looking to get in for that as well, to make sure you get all those cards, you can do that. You get 2 of each. So Game Shop of Destiny, can't recommend them enough. Yeah, Golden Dice for 15% off, and I think that's all I got. Shane, do you want to give us the closing comment?
Come play LVO. Come play with us at LVO. I don't know. That's terrible. I was not expecting that.
First, make him censor things.
It's like SOLOSOLOSOLO. I'm living my life, ain't got stress no more. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride, I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo, I'm hunting solo. I'm hunting solo, I'm hunting solo, solo.